There are these hidden pockets where the ultra-wealthy live that most people have absolutely no clue about. And I'm not talking about downtown. I'm talking about communities where homes break $2 million, $5 million, and some estates sell for over $25 million. Today, I'm taking you inside the most exclusive zip codes in all of Chicagoland: the North Shore, the western suburbs, horse country out northwest, and trust me, the last one is a hidden gem where the ultra-wealthy have been quietly keeping it for themselves for decades. All right, first things first, if you've never heard the term the North Shore, buckle up, because this is ground zero for the wealth in the Chicago suburbs. The North Shore is a string of communities that run all along Lake Michigan, just north of the city. Think Wilmette, Kenilworth, Winnetka, Glencoe, Lake Forest. And here's the wild part. Each one of these towns has its own distinct personality, its own school districts, its own vibe. But what do they all share? Insane home prices and some of the highest household incomes in the country. Let me break down the big players for you. And trust me, the last one on this list is so exclusive, most people don't even know it exists. Let's start at the top, and I mean literally at the top of the list, Winnetka. This town is officially recognized as the wealthiest suburb in Illinois and one of the wealthiest communities in the entire United States. The average household income here, around $458,000 a year. Let that sink in. The median home sale sits between $1.6 and $1.9 million. But if you want a lakefront estate on Sheridan Road, you're easily looking at $5, $10, $15 million. In 2012, a 27,000 square foot mansion on Locust listed for $27 million. And people considered that a deal because it had been listed for $32 million previously. Winnetka sits about 22 miles north of downtown Chicago. You can commute via the Metro train, the Union Pacific North Line, and be in the loop in just under 40 minutes. That's huge for executives who want the suburban estate life, but they still need to be in the office. Now, the schools here are exceptional as you're expecting. Kids go through Winnetka School District 36, nationally recognized for progressive, differentiated education. And then you go to New Trier Township High School, which consistently ranks as one of the best public high schools in the country. And here's the number that stops people cold. 2 homes on Sheridan Road sold for over $30 million just last year. $30 million in the suburbs of Chicago. That's the kind of money we're talking about on the North Shore. And here's your fun fact for Winnetka. This is where they filmed Home Alone, the McAllister house, right here. So yes, you can live in the same town as Kevin McAllister. And if you didn't know, that house just sold last year for $5.5 million. Now, right next door to Winnetka is a tiny little village that punches way above its weight class. And that's Kenilworth. Population, just 2,500 people. That's it. But in 2011, Forbes rated Kenilworth as the second most affluent community in the entire U.S. The mean income here is around $387,000, and the median home sales price between $1.7 and $1.9, with a 5-year appreciation rate of 54%. If you want exclusivity, if you want to know you're in one of the most prestigious zip codes in America, Kenilworth is going to be your answer. It sits 17 miles north of downtown Chicago, right on Lake Michigan. And to put the market in perspective, a home right on Sheridan Road here sold for $14 million in a town of 2,500 people. That's Kenilworth for you. The whole town is served by a single K-8 school, the Joseph Sears School, which is nationally recognized for its academic rigor. Then students also moved to New Trier. It's a small, tight-knit community where 35% of the residents are under 18. Young, wealthy, family-focused. Kenilworth is super elite, but right next door, there's a community that most people really overlook, and it shouldn't be overlooked. Let me show you why. Now, before we head to that area, if we haven't met, I'm Jay Stallone. I help people relocate all over the Chicago area. I'm a husband, a dad of 2 little humans, and I post videos like this every single week, breaking down everything you need to know about the market. So feel free to give me a call here or sign up for my weekly newsletter right here. Now let's dive back into it. And I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention Wilmette, which just sits south of Kenilworth. The average household income here is about $273,000. And while the average home value is around $900 to $1.1 million, don't let it fool you. Homes in Wilmette are regularly selling between $2, $3, even the $4 million range, especially as you get closer to the lake. The North Shore premium is very real here. And it's a bit more accessible than Winnetka or Kenilworth as your entry point. But this is still absolute premium real estate. And it actually made the national list of safest and richest places to live in America. How cool is that? Plus, Wilmette has one of the most stunning architectural landmarks in the Midwest, the Baha'i House of Worship, a 191-foot dome that is absolutely breathtaking. It's 19 miles from downtown Chicago. The schools are excellent, and honestly, a lot of relocating families who want that North Shore lifestyle land right here in Wilmette. You get a great entry point into one of the most coveted corridors in the country. Let's drive north, about 30 miles north of Chicago, and talk about a town that is in a category all of its own. Lake Forest, this is old money. This is the kind of place where the mansions have their own names, where the streets were designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, the same guy who designed Central Park in New York City. The lots are sprawling, the homes are historic, the country clubs, legendary of course, the Onwetsia Club and Conway Farms Golf Club. These are places you get into by knowing the right people. The median home price in Lake Forest is around $1.1 million, but don't let the number fool you at all. Properties here regularly sell for $3, $5, $7 million, and well beyond that. The per capita income is over $100,000, which puts it among the highest in the state. Lake Forest was founded in the 1850s and incorporated in 1861. It was literally designed from the ground up to be an elite enclave. Planned around Lake Forest College, one of the oldest liberal arts colleges in the Midwest. The first mayor, Sylvester Lind, was a major conductor on the Underground Railroad. This community has been shaping history since before the Civil War. Now here's where it gets fun. Lake Forest can have some incredible stories attached to it. You know Mr. T from the A-Team? In 1986, he paid $1.6 million for a Tudor mansion in Lake Forest. And then this is not a joke. He proceeded to cut down over 100 oak trees on the property. The town was furious. It became so notorious, they called it the Lake Forest Chainsaw Massacre. And it literally inspired a local preservation ordinance to protect trees in the city. You only get that in Lake Forest. Lake Forest is also home to Lake Forest Academy, one of the top private boarding schools in the country. The schools are exceptional across the board. The metro connects you to Chicago with the Union Pacific North Line. And here's the lifestyle detail that makes Lake Forest different from everything else on the list. It's space. You don't feel on top of your neighbors at all. The lots are generous, the roads wind through ravines and bluffs, and the whole city feels like you're living inside a nature preserve. Let me give you a real example of how the market works here. I had a client who just bought one of the cheapest single-family homes in Lake Forest in like a decade. $275,000. 2-bed, 1.5 bath, 1,000 square feet. It needed a full gut job redo. Now you're probably thinking, that doesn't sound like Lake Forest at all. But here's the thing. You can find some of these sometimes. And when he's done with it, it'll be worth $600,000, $700,000, or even more. And that's not even the end game. His whole strategy is to keep moving closer and closer to the water. Because in Lake Forest, every block you move towards Lake Michigan, the value jumps dramatically. That's how people sometimes build wealth in this community. One move at a time, closer to the lakefront. Now, if you want the most established, most historic, most old money community in all Chicagoland, Lake Forest is it. Okay, we're shifting gears now. Literally, we're going from the lakefront to the wide open northwest suburbs. We're talking Barrington Hills. Barrington Hills is unlike anything else on this list. While the North Shore suburbs are about lakefront prestige and old money neighborhoods, Barrington Hills is different. It's about land, space, horses, privacy. And here's the key thing you need to know about Barrington Hills. There is a strict 5-acre minimum lot size requirement. Every single property must sit on at least 5 acres. That's not an exaggeration, that's the law. What that means in practice is that you have a community of true estates everywhere. You don't see starter homes, you see sprawling properties with barns, ponds, walking trails, and guest houses. The median home sales price in Barrington Hills is around $2 million, with a mean household income of around $300,000 a year. The population just over 41,000 people, and it's small by design. And home values here have appreciated about 40% since 2020 alone. This is equestrian country. So if you ride horses or you want your kids to ride horses, this is the place. The community has almost a rural feel that you simply cannot find close to a major metro city. Yet you're still within commuting distance to Chicago, about 40 to 45 minutes depending on where you work. And the Metro Barrington station gets you into the city. Now, right next door, South Barrington offers a similar vibe with a median home price of around $1 million, but it has newer construction as well. So if you want the estate feeling with a more modern build, South Barrington is definitely worth a look. And don't sleep on Inverness and North Barrington either. Both offer larger lots, privacy, strong schools through Barrington 220 School District, which is one of the best public school districts in the entire state. At least that's what it's rated like. And a lifestyle that feels a world away from the city. Now let's swing west because the North Shore gets all the fame. But the western suburbs of Chicago have been quietly building some serious wealth of their own. 2 towns you need to know about, Hinsdale and Burr Ridge. Hinsdale sits about 20 miles west of downtown Chicago in DuPage County. And I'll say it flat out, this is one of the most underrated luxury communities in the entire Chicagoland area. Median home sale price, about $1.45 million. The average household income is around $340,000, and 80% of the residents here hold at least a bachelor's degree. But here's what makes Hinsdale different from a lot of things on the west side. It has a real downtown. It's a charming, walkable village center with boutique shops, restaurants, coffee shops, an old-town feel that most western suburbs simply don't have. You're not driving through strip malls to get to dinner. It feels like a real community here. Now, the median tells you one story, but the top end of the market tells a completely different one here. Homes in Hinsdale are regularly, again, selling for $3, $4, even $5 million. The newer construction and fully renovated estates, especially, those are world-class homes here. We're talking chef's kitchens, primary suites that feel like a five-star hotel, outdoor living spaces that are stunning, and Hinsdale Central High School, which again is consistently ranked as one of the best high schools in the state of Illinois. Now, if you want Western suburban luxury with a community feel, Hinsdale will be your answer. And right next door, just south of Hinsdale, is a community that I think genuinely is one of the best kept secrets on the entire western suburb side. Burr Ridge population is around 11,000 people. It's private, quiet, and loaded with serious money. What I call Burr Ridge is the executive privacy suburb. This is where you've really made it, and you don't really need to show it either. You choose to live here. You've got gated communities, large lots, custom estates, the kind of neighborhood where you could be a billionaire as a neighbor, and you'd never really even know it. Plus, they have the Keller Spa. If you haven't been, you should go. The median home price sits around $780,000 to $1 million, but the custom estates and the gated property, they push well beyond that. And here's something you don't hear about in many Chicago suburbs. Burr Ridge still has developable land. Cool, right? If you want to buy a lot and build your absolute dream home from the ground up, close to the city with privacy and space, well, Burr Ridge is one of the places left that you have the option to do that. Home values have appreciated over 30% in 5 years, and new luxury developments still come in. And that trajectory isn't slowing down. You have quick access to I-55 and I-294, which get you downtown or to airports fast. So for executives who travel, this location has a serious advantage. Burr Ridge doesn't get the press that Hinsdale or the North Shore gets. And honestly, the people kind of like it that way. All right, rapid fire time. 2 communities that don't always make the headlines, but absolutely deserve your attention. Bannockburn, just north of Lake Forest, population barely over 1,000 people, but the mean income here is over $300,000. Median home sales price, $1.9 million. You're looking at 45 to 60 minutes to get to the city, depending on I-94's traffic, of course. But honestly, the people who choose Bannockburn probably really aren't punching a clock downtown every day anyway. This is a community of people who have the flexibility to work really on their own terms. With only about 1,000 residents, this is as close to the best kept secret as it gets in the Chicagoland area. And then you have Glencoe, sitting right between Winnetka and Highland Park, on the North Shore, of course. The average home value, about $1.4 million. It's situated right next to the Chicago Botanic Garden and the Skokie Lagoons, some of the most beautiful natural spaces in the entire Chicago metro. And for the pop culture fans, Glencoe is where the scenes from Risky Business were shot. Tom Cruise, baby. Now, before we summarize and go over the key takeaways here, if any of this has you thinking about moving to the Chicago market, where to buy, what areas to watch, what to avoid, that's exactly what I'm here for. So reach out anytime or sign up for my weekly emails right here, where I keep you updated on the market, local spots, worth knowing about, of course, and everything happening across the Chicago suburbs. Let's do a real quick summary for you. Here's where the numbers land. Kenilworth, median home 1.7, 1.9, mean income $390. Forbes number 2 most affluent in the US. Winnetka, median home price 1.6 to 1.9, average income $460, richest suburb in Illinois. Glencoe, average home price $1.4 million, 54% appreciation in 5 years. Bannockburn, median home almost $2 million, only 1,000 residents. Lake Forest, median home $1.1 million, and homes that sell well over $7 million. Historic lakefront estates. Hinsdale, median home about $1.5 million, top sales between $3 and $5 million. Average income here, $340,000. Best downtown of the West Chicago suburbs, though. Burr Ridge, gated estates, 30% appreciation over the last 5 years, and still has some developable land. It's an executive privacy estate place. Barrington Hills, median home about $2 million, 5 acres minimum, true estate living here. Wilmette, average home about $900,000, but they still sell in the $4 millions. One of the richest in the US. Listen, here's what I want you to take away from this video. The Chicago area is massive and incredibly diverse. And whether you're looking for lakefront prestige on the North Shore, old money estate living up in Lake Forest, open horse country in Barrington, or Western suburb executive style living, this market has it all. And here's the truth. The wealth in these communities isn't just about the homes. It's about the schools, the lifestyle, the access to the city still, and the community that always surrounds you. But if you want to know about another neighborhood that is one of my personal favorites, watch this next video, and I'll see you there.